Now that we've logged into the site, there's a few areas of our homepage I just want to point out. So first of all is the search bar. This is obviously how you're going to look up products. We also have our categories listed in this blue section, and that's how you're going to browse. Beneath that is what we call the gray bar. It has our local links on it. We're going to cover this quick order area in a little bit. And then if you continue to scroll on down, we have some web account sign up information, and at the bottom we have helpful links. And this is going to have a lot of the features of our website you might be looking for. We have our current promos, Johnstone University. We even have our e-catalog right here. So I'm going to click on our promos just to show you that once you navigate away from our home page, you can use this logo up in the top left, click it to always come right back to the home page. So that's helpful if you get a little turned around. I also want to point out this store info section. It has quick links to our emergency store openings so you can get phone numbers and hours and information, as well as our contact. So if you want the contact information, including address and hours for any store, you just click that button and you're brought right here. One neat feature that I wanted to point out is that if you happen to be on a mobile device, or if your computer can connect to your phone and send text messages, you can just click this. It's going to open up a text message and you can actually text our counter. And you can do that outside of our website. You just text the counter number, the normal number that you would call, and our counter guys will actually see it and get back to you. So the last thing I want to point out is our contractor tools section. So that is just a collection of links that we think might be helpful to you. You can get on here and review them whenever you want. They're always up here in this top right corner for your use. Searching is probably the most popular function of the website, so we're going to start there. But before I get into details, I just want to mention that you can search for products without being logged in, but the results are not going to include any products that we only carry here locally, and it also isn't going to include your price and availability. So you really want to make sure you're logged in before you start searching. So back to searching, you can search by a part number, a manufacturer number, part of a description, basically any scraps of information that you have, you can try entering into our search bar and see what comes up. So for example, I'm going to start by typing thermo. You can see we're getting thermocouples, but there's also this useful suggestions bar on the right that wants to know if maybe we want to narrow it down by category. And these are all just suggestions that our new search feature has. So that's pretty neat. If I continue to type in more letters, like thermostat maybe, you can see that I have the most popular thermostats, or you can see there's other popular suggestions. If you want to jump to any of these products, you can just click right on them and go there. And you can see all the details you would want to know about the product, including price and availability, as well as any specs that you'd be used to seeing in our catalog. Some of our products even have 360 views on them. Not all of them, but it's pretty neat when you're able to zoom in and see the most specific information that you might be searching for. So like I said before, if you want to go back to our home page, you can just click the logo. Another example I want to show you is, say you only know a little bit about the product that you're trying to find. So if I know I want to find a capacitor that has POC somewhere in the manufacturer number, I can just start typing capacitor POC, and you can see that I already have pretty good results in this preview. But if I want to see all the results, I just hit search. From this page, I can see the most popular results that have anything to do with the search. I can also narrow down by brand, MFD, and even voltage. So it's a good way to go from kind of knowing a little bit to getting exactly what you were looking for. You could also search within your search results. So if you maybe a little bit more about the product, you could start typing and click this magnifying glass, and anything that maybe has a 40 in it is going to remain. So from here, you can click to get the details like we did on the other product, or you can just refresh the pricing and availability for each product. If you decide that you would like to add any of these to your cart, you can just use these little numbers here and click Add to Cart. For those watching and thinking that this is a lot of steps to get products to your cart, do not fear. We have a section here called Quick Order, and it's exactly what you think it is. It is a quick way to add items to your order. So if you know your product number or manufacturer number, you can put it directly into this chart here, and you don't have to do any of the searching. So I'm going to show you an example with some order numbers that I have. And you'll notice there's only these 3 lines, which in a lot of cases is not going to be enough for what you need. Just use this button that says Add More, and then you'll get more lines, and you can do that pretty much as many times as you want. So I'm going to show you that if you know the manufacturer number and not the Johnstone number, that's okay too. It just has to be an exact match. So when you're done, you just click Add to Cart, and those items have all been added, and that was just that one step. I'm going to go back real quick here just to show you that you can also, this item called bulk entry, if you just have a list that you can copy and paste right in here, you can use that as well. If you happen to have a barcode scanner connected to your computer, you can also do that. I know that's probably not the case for many of you, but it is there. If you prefer to browse for products rather than searching specific numbers or phrases, you can use this blue bar here to look at all of the categories exactly as you're used to seeing them in our catalog. So for example, if you want to look at motors, first you're going to see this very large list of subcategories of motors. You could just click motors in general and be brought to a product results page, but it's probably best to at least narrow down by one of these categories. So I'm going to choose general purpose motors. And once you do that, you can see we have over 1,000 results. And we are just looking at one of the more popular products at the top. But we obviously need to narrow it down. So we're going to look at these categories down the left-hand side, which will be different depending on what product category you're in. Motors have a lot of nice criteria that we can use. So maybe next I want to narrow it down by brand, and I'm going to choose US Motors, and you can see that took us down to 335 results, much more manageable. And say maybe I know that I only need a single horsepower. So once again, we're right back to our results, which are down to 21, which is totally doable. Now, maybe I knew that there was a certain family of products that I wanted to look for. So say you know part of the model number. You can search it right in here, and you'll actually see the matching results within the results that you already narrowed down based on your checkboxes. So these are general purpose motors from US Motors that are a single horsepower and contain the phrase or series of letters D1P, and you can see that that's exactly what we have here. So just like any other process that we can use to find products on the website, from here you are able to use these arrows to add or remove quantities if you want to add them to your cart. Or you could just go ahead and click price and availability, and it's going to show you right on the screen. And of course, if you want to see details on any of these products, you could just click and be taken to the product detail page. We briefly touched on the kind of information you can see when you're looking at product detail pages, but I'm going to get into a little more detail this time. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a product number that I know is a good example for this. And just to point out, unlike searches, if you know the exact product number as opposed to a description or a phrase or a partial number, when you type in that number and click search, you're going to jump straight to the page. You don't have to select it off of a results page. So that kind of cuts out a step. So anyway, now that we've reached this product page, we see the name of it, a photo, which does include this 360 view, which is not on every product that we have, but there are a lot of helpful 360 photos on our products. So you can zoom in, and you can also drag if you want to look at any sort of detail on that product. And you also have your more classic product images as well. Additionally, you're going to see just this giant block of information, which is pretty much exactly what you would find in our flyer or catalog. It's just kind of all mashed up together. You'll see our order number, as in the Johnstone number, the manufacturer number. This is just some internal information that's not really relevant to you, as well as the brand. So if you keep in mind anything that's right here, or really anything you see on this page, is something that you can search by. So remember that if you cannot find a product by its exact name, think about all of these criteria that might be on a product page and try searching by it. Anyway, for those of you who are fans of the catalog, you'll also find that any product which is in the catalog is going to have a link like this that you can click, and it's going to open up our e-catalog, and you can look at it in the format that you're more comfortable in, if that happens to be the e-catalog. So all you have to do is click the back arrow and you'll come back to this page. Right here you see customer part number, and I'll get into more detail on that in a separate class about tips and tricks, but essentially you can click this little pencil and you can add basically what is a nickname for that product, and then search by it and also see it on your paperwork if that helps you eliminate any cross-referencing later. So if I type in US Motors 287, just for example, and click that checkbox, now you can see for your company that's there. So again, I'll get into more detail on that and how it works later, but that's what this section does. Next, obviously, we have our price and availability. You again use this sort of number box to change quantity, and from there you can add whatever quantity you choose to your cart or to a product list, which again, we've got a whole separate class on that. Next, we have our availability section. So by default, it's actually going to show the store that you chose as your home store, and then from there down is in alphabetical order. But you could also choose distance, and it's going to show you from closest to farthest what stores would be best to go to. So those are options you can use. You'll see underneath the photo, we have a link called Similar Products, which will take you to items that are classified as a similar product as the one you're on. You could look at all items for that brand, this one being US Motors, or you could look at Open Air Over Motors from US Motors. So I'm just going to click on Similar Products to give you an idea. So once again, we're back to this familiar product results page. And you can see these are all similar products that aren't necessarily US Motors because we didn't specify that. So that may come in handy. I'm just going to back out and get back to where we left off. So this bottom section is mostly just a more organized version of the information that you saw up top. Like I said before, it's kind of smashed together up top, but now it's in more of a chart down here. You even have your capacitor match with a link, so you could actually go to that product from here, as well as any specs you would need to know. You also see that there's tons of resources. So again, this may not be the case for every single product that we have, but for a lot of products, particularly motors and equipment, you will find data sheets and resources of all kinds. So if you click on any of them, it's going to open a new window, and from there you can download or print. The ones I happen to choose for this were a technical document, and I've also opened up a motor training webpage that was linked to that motor. So you can see there's a pretty wide variety of helpful documents. The checkout process is very easy and it works just like any website you might be used to. When you're ready to purchase the items that you've added to your cart, you simply go to your cart, you review the items that you've added. If you have a promo code, here's your chance to add it now. We've also added a few reminders about items that are often added at the last second, so you can take advantage of that. But otherwise, you're just going to click checkout. When you do that, you're going to see your shipping addresses. If you have more than one address that you use, that would be available to choose from on this drop down. If you want to choose a completely different address that is not already saved on your account, you're able to add it here. If we do get an order with a brand new shipping address, we may need to contact you in order to verify it before we go ahead, but you're more than welcome to add it. So if I just continue here with my saved address, the next step is choosing your shipping options. So these are all the same options that you're used to when you're working with us at the counter. So I'm just going to select will call. This is really important. This item right here is going to match the store that you are shopping with. So when you are looking around on the website, up here it says shopping. This is always going to default to the same location. You can change it here. Just be careful because the next time you come to log back in, it's most likely going to be whichever you chose last. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're checking out. Right here, you can add any sort of notes to your order. PO is actually required. It won't let you go through without adding it. So I would just recommend maybe putting a job name or your name. So I'm just going to put my name there. And then this might be a little confusing to you. The order status is always going to say bid. You cannot change it. That's because when your order comes into our system, our staff at the counter is going to review it and they will change it to the shipping option that you selected. So don't worry about this. And then next, again, because we don't currently accept cards online, the only thing that you can choose is default payment method. So this means if you're COD and you have to pay when you pick stuff up, that's what'll happen. If you have an open account, we will charge it to your account. This next section down here gives you the opportunity to add a phone number or an email where we can reach you for order notifications. And when you're all done with that, you can just click Submit Order. And you'll see the confirmation message pop right up, and you're all done. One final thing I wanted to point out about our website is that it does time out. So if you're inactive for about 15 minutes, you will be logged out of the site, and that is to protect you so that no one can walk up to your computer and make an unauthorized purchase. The reason I bring this up is that we do often get calls from customers who think that there's something wrong with the website, when in fact, they've just been automatically logged out for security. So I just want to point out that if you are logged in, you will see your name here, and you will see this grayish blue bar that has our local links on it. If you're not logged in, it's going to look different. You don't have any information about your name here. Obviously, you're going to see sign in information asking you to log in, and you don't see that gray blue bar underneath your equipment category. So that's a really quick way to just figure out if you need to log back in or if you need our help with something else.